they actually were too big for the amount of employees they had. Most of the employees had 4 different jobs. You know, they weren't just PR, they weren't just marketing, they weren't just, just writing. They were a bunch of things.
Right.
Yeah. And and then finally WWE hired enough employees to keep up with how popular they were and the money they were making. But TNA starting to get to that point where they're making money, and they need to start hiring more people from a PR perspective, marketing perspective, even more writers. As good as Vince Russo and Jeff Jarrett and Dutch Mantel can be as writers, it'd be nice to have 4 or 5 more. So, as this company grows, and they are growing, thank God, and thank the good Lord they're not going anywhere, because we're already in 120 countries. It's just a matter of continuing to let the company grow, and while it's growing, you have to add more employees to it,
When you went in the company, was Dixie concerned about your health issues before you entered, or?
I pretty much, I have my stuff together. When Dixie came to meet with me, I was all through the pill thing. I was through everything. The only thing that actually happened to me was I had 2 police officers come to my house one day because a lady said that she saw me driving erratically. I was actually on the phone with Vince Russo. We were writing, and and I was texting him ideas, and so I might have crossed the line a couple times. So a lady took it upon herself that actually had a DUI 3 weeks before that. She took it upon herself to call the police. So police show up at my house. I invite them in. They take a breathalyzer. I pass it. They then want to take me from my house to a hospital to have me drug tested. I'm in my house. I've been here for 40 minutes, and I passed the breathalyzer, and you guys want me to go to the hospital? They're like, well, we just want to see if you're clean. I'm in my house.
Right.
What are you doing?
That's a privacy thing.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even have to invite them in. Anyway, they found out later that the lady, she said she came from the grocery store. She wrote on a receipt. On the front of the receipt was 3 minutes before the incident, she was at a liquor store, and she got more liquor than you can imagine. The lady was probably lit up when she actually called me in. And on the other side had the make of the car and the license plate number. And the thing is, the more they found out about this lady, the more the police, after they did this, the more they felt bad and tried to get me out of it. And they couldn't. It was too late.
Right.
So now we're going to have the hearing soon, but God willing, I get out of it, because the thing is, the lady at the pre-hearing, she lied about too many things that now she's not a credible witness. And she also at the preliminary hearing, we weren't allowed to say that she had a DUI charge. And she basically at the hearing, that will be brought up. And it's like, I didn't want to drag this lady's name through the mud.
Right.
She's going to do this. I'll be surprised if she even shows up now, because all this stuff that's going on. But I feel bad. I mean, this whole incident didn't have to happen. I wasn't drunk. All I did was stopped at a place, had lunch, and had a couple of beers, and I just was texting Vince Russo. And the cops came to my house. I passed the breathalyzer, but the whole pro wrestling thing, man, it's like, they want to get pro wrestlers, they want to do whatever they can, but they actually felt bad afterward, and they actually submitted evidence to my attorney that helped my case. So, hopefully I'll be able to get through it, God willing, and move on. But that's about it. I mean, really, I've been clean. Dixie has not had to worry.
Getting back to TNA and some of your stuff in the ring, as far as one of your first programs there was with Samoa Joe. Do you feel that you should have put Joe over in your first match?
You know what? It wasn't my call. I wouldn't have minded, but I don't think that would have been a very good intro for Kurt Angle.
Right.
Joe is a one-of-a-kind wrestler, though. He's awesome. We did go. I think I won, and he won, and I won. was fun wrestling Joe. With the undefeated streak, I don't believe so. If I were in Joe's position, I was undefeated, and I had a big star from the other company coming in. I would definitely want to lose my first match to that person because it really you got to bring that person in larger than life in order for him to keep that popularity and try to help with the ratings. So I think we did the right thing, but with Joe, I think that for a while that affected his stigma.
Right.
But now it doesn't matter. I think Joe, after he gets done with Booker and hopefully wins the title back, has a nice, good, long reign, I think Joe's going to be our big breakout star, him and AJ.
Do you think Kevin Nash is good or bad for TNA?
I think he's good for TNA in a lot of ways. He's helped the younger guys. Sometimes I don't agree with some of the decisions he makes, but Kevin Nash is very smart. He knows the business, not just from a wrestling standpoint, from many standpoints, from a business standpoint, from a psychological standpoint. He actually has helped out the younger wrestlers quite a bit. So Kevin is not the quote-unquote the nasty poison that he was back in WCW. He is a lot more helpful. He knows that he's older. He knows that he's kind of the wise man that has to teach the younger guys. And he's done a pretty good job with it. I think that Kevin is actually good for us. And I think you're going to see a lot more of him here in the future. He's been training hard. He's actually wants to get back in the ring and wrestle more.
Right.
So we'll see how he does. But Kevin's good for the business right now. I think so.
You said you wanted to go to TNA to help elevate some of the younger talent. What do you think? Who are some of the guys that you think you've elevated since you've been there?
I think I've helped Joe. I think I've helped AJ right now. I think I've even helped Sting to some degree, because Sting was getting a little stagnant and he wasn't having that many good matches, and him and I had some good ones. Thank God.
Was he easy to work with?
Yeah. Sting's very easy to work with. I'd like to work with a lot of the X Division guys. I'd like to, honestly, the two guys that are coming up fast are Robert Roode and James Storm. I would love to do some programs with those guys. I think those guys are the next guys in line. I think James could be a really good babyface with his character, and I would love to do some stuff with those guys. Right now, we got guys like Matt Morgan that are going to be upcoming superstars. I always have, I can always go back with a few with Rhino, but Christian Cage and Rhino are great. I mean, Booker T's great. I had that angle with him a few years ago on SmackDown, but you know what? I want to do fresh young talent. I want to help guys out. Like a kid like Kaz. Anyone like him that has the ability to become a big superstar. He just needs that little extra something. And sometimes it's working with the right person.
Right.
If the person has the right heat and he's doing the right things at the right time, it can help so much. So I don't know. I'm really curious to see who the real breakout superstar is going to be. When I mean that, I mean like when I broke out, and like when The Rock broke out in Austin, and Cena, when Cena broke out. I want to see one of the guys in TNA kind of do that.
Right.
We haven't seen that in a while. I think we have the ability to see someone like AJ Styles break out and become a household name, not just a big name in wrestling, but a household name. That's what TNA needs right now, and hopefully we'll get it soon.
Whose idea was it to get Karen involved with TNA as far as on air?
I
think
Jeff and Vince, and they asked me. I said, yeah, it'd be fine. And then she was such a natural, they want to hire her.
Right.
I'm glad they did. I think she's one of the best female performers in wrestling, period. I don't know about Karen. Karen's what's it called Karen Angle. What do they call it? The Karen Angle's corner, or Karen's Angle.
Right.
Karen's Angle. Karen's not a babyface. Karen's a heel, and I think that's where she'll be best utilized. So she hasn't even reached her potential, what she's gonna be. Karen has a great knack for the business, and the little time she spent with us, she never missed a spot. Had impeccable timing. Is great on the microphone. Great actor, and I mean I love her to death. She is awesome. I'm just really surprised because she's never done it before. But you know, we have a lot of people in the business that's been there for years, 3, 4, 5 years. We ask them to do one spot and they forget, just to trip someone's leg.
Right.
You know, Karen never missed anything. She was always on, thank God. And but they saw a lot of money with Karen. You know, they saw her look and saw how well she did, and they're like, wow, would you be interested in having her, you know, get in the wrestling business? I said, if she wants to, it's up to her. But she wants to be a mother first. That's Karen's all.